closer to first place. Under lights the engines scream, this is more than just a dream. Through the asphalt like a beam, racers' hearts with fervor gleam. In this game we find our might, push the pedal like the night. With each lap our spirits flight, racing on with all our might. Trucks flying through the night, NASCAR dreams within our sight. Asphalt heroes in the fight, Peacemakers gaming life so bright. Rev it up, feel the pace, speed homes in the race. Feel the thrill, feel the chase, victory is our holy place. Thrill the place, thrill the place. Throttle down, no time to waste. In this high octane haste, feel the thrill, feel the chase. Victory is our holy place. Throttle down, no time to waste. In this high octane haste, every corner, every taste leads us closer to first place. Throttle down, no time to waste. In this high octane haste, in this high octane haste, every corner, every taste leads us closer to first place. Under lights the engines scream, this is more than just a dream. Through the asphalt like a beam, racers' hearts with fervor gleam. In this game we find our might, push the pedal like the night. With each lap our spirits flight, racing on with all our might. All our might. Thrill the place, thrill the place, thrill the place.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rock and roll. We get ready to go to battle here this evening from the beautiful Lucas Oil Raceway Park in Indianapolis. It's the IRP Indianapolis Raceway Park here this afternoon with the HCK Beagles Truck Series. As each and every one of these drivers looking to try to pick up the checkered flag here in the Beagle Run 165 here this afternoon, as each and every one of these competitors are going to look to try to put themselves up and into victory lane. Qualifying has already come to a close, just came to a close here, and that means we're going to get ready here for our feature event, our A main, about to get underway. 165 laps of racing action here this afternoon, and that's going to give it's a lot of laps. It's a lot of laps, a lot of opportunities for drivers to move forward, to unfortunately fall backwards, to try to put themselves into a winning situation, or just to try to get a good, solid day at the racetrack, try to earn those points and try to help yourself out here on the season. As Kevin Winker says, a new track for this season for HCK. Yeah, new track here for the HCK Beagles. Indianapolis Raceway Park, man. It seems to be a very, very fast track. It seems to be a very difficult track. It's kind of like an Iowa raceway where you just never really know what's going to happen. You don't know if it's going to be really, really fast. You don't know if we're going to see drivers lay down just good green flag laps out there on the racetrack, or if we'll see an abundance of issues and caution flags out there on the racetrack where it could definitely cause a lot of chaos. It's very wide. There's a lot of grooves. You can pick up a lot of speed and carry a lot of momentum, and when things happen out there on the racetrack, there's not necessarily always a lot of room to try to find your way through and try to navigate yourself through the contact and chaos out there on the racetrack. Is High News coming in, says, hey yo, Joshua Ledoux, number 38, let's go, cheered on Mr. Ledoux. As Lisa McDonald says, hello, let's go Trench, let's go Lisa, how are you my girl? As Dimitri Curtis, what's good Dimitri? Dimitri says, come on Robert McDonald, cheered on Trench as well here this afternoon. Shout out to my boy Jonathan Wiley coming in, dropping that thumbs up on the broadcast, hitting that like on the stream here, as ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you haven't already, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button as we get ready to go to battle. We get ready to duke it out here this evening as my boy Kevin Winker came up with that heart reaction, and Lisa McDonald coming in with that like on the stream as well. As these drivers are going to get ready to roll out onto the racetrack here, you see them all steamrolling down and into corner number 1 and getting in behind our official iRacing pace truck here for the afternoon. Is starting on the pole in the 27. In the Napa Auto Parts machine, that is Nick Garner to his outside. In the Dirt Track Junkie 09 laser engraving number 83, it's Josh Ely. Starting at third, it's the Cummins ride. That is Mr. Zach Michael to his outside. In the Bucky's number 16, it's Alex Pelican. Starting in position number 5, in the 5 ride, that is Nicholas Snyder to his outside. In the 45, it's Chris Gilbert. Starting in position number 7, that's Brad Lane to his outside. It's the Bob Smoke 22, number 18 ride of Jacob Groove. Jason LePan will start there in at 9th in that beautiful Tech Warrior ride. To his outside is Joshua Ledoux in the Dirt Track Junkies number 38 machine. John Herbert, Nate Maurer, Ed Kochersberger. Then we see Tyson Pankow, Brandon Domingue, Brent Summers, Brian Shute, John McCulloch, Cal Turbeville, Neil Lapidus, Robert Howard, Tim Blankenbeckler, Will Klein, Robert McDonald back there trenching that beautiful juke joint ride in 24th with Bobby Blair, Mark Beverly, Kevin Winker, Kyle Van Tassel, and Ryan Peterson bringing up the rear of the field. 29 trucks taking the green flag here this afternoon as we do, and all the anticipation with our feature presentation as we are quickly green flag racing here this evening from IRP. It's Indianapolis Raceway Park, and early on in leading lap number 1, it is our pole sitter, that Napa Auto Parts number 27, right at Nick Garner. Garner out in front as we do see Nathaniel Ostrowski jumping out there onto the racetrack here. Now, he did have to start down pit side, unfortunately missing the start of this race in that beautiful KTM number 14 right now. He's hoping to see a caution flag in a quick hurry as he is very close to potentially going a lap down, as our race leaders only less than half a straightaway back from putting him a lap down early in this race, and definitely not a spot you want to be early on here this evening. Nick Garner out in front, Josh Ely there in second with Zach Michael back in third. Alex Pelican there in 4th, and Nick Snyder rounding out our top 5. You see that Grizzly 16 ride trying to move his way forward. Here's right now our top 7, all staying right where they started here on the racetrack, as we do see our first caution flag fly. So our first caution flag going to come out, a big break right there. Excuse me again. What in the world? A big break right there for Nathaniel Ostrowski, as he's going to be able to stay on the lead lap there on that KTM number 14 ride, as unfortunately Cal Turbeville going to run into some problems here. Let's take a look back and see what happens here as the 64 down low. I'm not sure if he just loses the handle of his truck or if something else happens as he rolls down to the inside here of Bobby Blair. Yeah, there you go. Rear end just kicks out around on him. Unfortunately, slides down the racetrack onto the apron right there, but as soon as that truck gets sideways and gets stopped there on the speedway, that's where we see that caution flag fly. So a early yellow flag here this evening, a tough break right there for the number 64 machine early on, running into some problems, but for Nathaniel Ostrowski, able to work his way up and in to position number 26 now in back onto the lead lap. A very good break there for him to get him right back into the battle, right back into the hunt, trying to work his way to the front here as Nick Gardner leads the way here during our first caution flag of the evening. Josh Ely there in second with Zach Michael, Alex Pelican, and Nicholas Snyder rounding out our top 5 here this afternoon, and this is going to get very interesting. Our first restart, our first attempt here for drivers to try and find that extra little bit of gear here, trying to figure out what they needed in those first couple laps. And we did see a few drivers head down pit side, maybe realizing that their trucks were a little bit off, maybe that they needed to make a couple different changes. We saw Ryan Peterson, we saw Robert Howard, we saw Bobby Blair down pit side, and that 42 of Kevin Winker as K-Dub in that Muleburger Custom Homes Winker Nation number 42 also heads down pit side, looking to get some work done to that 42 ride. is out in front. Nick Garner going to get ready for this restart. The lights are still on the official iRacing pace truck, so we should see that green flag come back out here in just a few more moments. It's early on a caution flag here in this race, and it could just be an onslaught of craziness from this point on. As rise and shine, sleepyheads. Yes, we need to rise and shine. That is for certain. That's for certain. No, it's been a long day. We're burning at both ends of the candle. That's for certain. As Richard Bradshaw, what's good, Richard? Richard says, Richard Bradshaw in the mother house. He says, yes, sir, in the house. Yes, sirski. Says, let's go, number 20, Jason LePan here on LePan here this evening. As Cheryl says, track Tuesday, let's go, number 50, Robert Howard, IRP. Yeah, IRP is a very, very beautiful facility, man. It's so good to see this track into the schedule. 11 of these drivers here with the HCK Beagles will try to attack it and try to figure out this speedway and try to find their way up and into victory lane this afternoon. Let's go Denver. Mr. Henderson coming in with the like on the stream. The juke joint coming in with that share as well here on the broadcast. Here we go. Back to green flag racing as the 27 right. A great restart right there. Quickly tries to clear that 83. But here comes Healy down low, trying to stay right there to that left rear quarter panel. Hoping to try to side draft there as the 16 gets up into the outside fence. Pretty good contact there for Alex Pelican. We'll have to keep an eye on that 16 right and see if that really starts to affect his ride and see if he would start to fall back here in a quick hurry as each and every one of these drivers out here doing everything that they can just trying to keep these cars pointed in the right direction. We do see that Ridge Power Sports number 87 rider John Herbert. He's been slicing and dicing his way up and through the field, sir, all the way back in 12th. Drove his way up into the 7th position. He may not be done yet as he's already looking down to the inside of that one rider, Brad Lane. Lane trying to hold on to position number 6, but Herbert trying to race his way into the front of the field. And this is going to be another question mark for a lot of these drivers here, ladies and gentlemen. It's obviously a new track, comes with a lot of new opportunities, but also comes with a lot of new learning experiences. And for some of these drivers to really know and to experience this racetrack under the green flag conditions with 30 drivers out there on the racetrack, you just never quite know on what the tire wear is going to look like, what the fuel mileage is going to look like, and that's always going to have these big question marks in the back of your mind and wondering what you need to do and what you have to do to try to put yourself up and into victory lane. As we did see the 26 rider Neil Lapidus out there get a little squirrely at a corner before the last time around. He does got that 26 pointed back in the right direction, and the Osaka Outdoors right again, almost making a little contact right there between him and Robert Howard. Both drivers though able to keep themselves pointed in the right direction, keep on rolling out there. There's the OsakaOutdoors.com. France for Pence, the juke joint 26 ride back here in that 26th position. New paint scheme here as well for Trench out there on the racetrack, looking very good there on the speedway. The juke joint Brent for Pence number 31. The juke joint, what does this say? Crawfish Tuesdays, what does it say? Crawfish Saturdays, Sundays, Crawfish Sundays. There's the juke joint. Oh, baby. Okay, now let's make it more sense. It's a crawfish paint scheme ride. Okay, that's making way more sense. Now, I've never had crawfish before in my life. I don't know if these things are good. I've heard that they're good. They look good. I've seen videos of guys that, you know, they make the big pot and they have so many other things in it and they dump it out on a table, and the crawfish, they look so ratty and so good. They're so tasty probably, but I'm not huge on seafood, so I don't know if it tastes like seafood, if it tastes like fish. I'm probably out, but man, they do look scrumdiddlyumptious, man. But yeah, the juke joint crawfish Sundays, man, that's got to be good. That's got to be real good. As Nick Gardner continuing to lead the way out in front, showing these drivers the way around the beautiful IRP racetrack here this afternoon, as Josh Ely's sticking right there with him in second. But look out back behind him, Alex Pelican gonna go around. Pelican goes for a quick loop-de-loop. Somehow or another gets this truck pointed back in the right direction. Doesn't even lose too many positions right there. Quick recovery, maybe a little help here as well, as maybe gets a little nudge from the 5 right of Nick Snyder. Let's take a look right here. Is Snyder coming up a little bit, the 16 coming down, and yep, there is that little bit of contact as both drivers just kind of running different lines here. Snyder kind of rolls up and trying to diamond the racetrack in the 16, kind of cuts down the speedway, looking for a big run out of corner number 2, and unfortunately just kind of comes down over the nose of the 5 ride. Luckily enough, not too much damage for either driver, and for the 16, he'll just quickly do a couple loop-de-loops and get this car pointed back in the right direction, keep on rolling there and keeping himself out of trouble there. And a great piece of driving, not only by the 16, but by all these other drivers to be able to avoid him. We could have seen a massive pileup, a lot of drivers, a lot of carnage out there on the racetrack in a quick hurry. As let's jump on board here and see what he can see from the cockpit. Woo, there's the contact, around he goes. And just nice, easy save. Nothing happened, no harm, no foul. Able to put it back into gear and keep on rolling out there on the racetrack. Alrighty, so quick save there for him. As all you can eat Sunday, $38.99. All you can eat, $38.99. My gosh. All you can eat. All you can eat crawfish there at the juke joint, man. That is it's a heck of a deal. That's a heck of a deal. I haven't had crawfish, so I don't know really what it tastes like. What is it kind of taste like? Are we going more towards tuna? Does it have that fishy taste to it, or is it like a, I guess lobster? I haven't had lobster or anything either, man. I'm from Ontario. I'm uncultured. Okay, I don't know most of these seafood creatures. I don't normally eat seafood. I'm a meat and potatoes kind of guy, you know. So I'm not too sure on what they taste like, but I have had some conversations, seen some good videos for them, man, and I would love to someday maybe try some crawfish. I don't know. Maybe. As Shauna Rita says, hashtag Winker Nation. Cheryl says, Rubbin is racing. You know it, Cheryl. You know it. Rubbin is racing. That is for certain. As Let's Ride says, Logan says, let's ride. Yes, Sirski, let's ride. Let's get it, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a lot of fun. These guys are probably really having a good time out there. Even though we've seen a couple early caution flags, I mean, really no harm, no foul. Alex Pelican went from about the 3rd position, now back into about 7th here for this restart. So only lost about 3-4 positions there on the racetrack, and could have been a whole lot worse. Could have been down pit sign for an extended period of time, but no harm, no foul. We get them all stacked up, ranked up, and ready to go back to green flag racing. For Nick Gardner, he's out in front trying to hold off all these drivers, but he's got that 83 ride of Josh Ely. He's been right there with them, hanging with them, lap after lap after lap. As here we go, back to green flag racing. Back to green flag racing here at IRP as Nick Gardner looking to try to hang on to the race lead, but a great restart, a good run down through 1 and 2 for Ely. Ely door to door, down the back straightaway here for the race lead. Ely looking to try to slide up and clear that 27 ride. Can he finally find his way to the front of the field? And he will, out at corner number 4. It's Josh Ely as we'll get a new race leader here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Josh Ely to the point there in that dirt track junkie 09 laser engraving ride. As look out, contact back there behind him. Jason LePan turned around and so many other drivers collected. This is what we were talking about. This is what we could have seen when we saw that number 16 ride go around. But unfortunately, it happens a couple laps later, and Jason LePan, the first one to kind of get knocked sideways, and all of a sudden it's on like Donkey Kong in the carnage. Down through corner number 2 and down the back straightaway unfolds. As let's take a look back and see what happens here. Is virtually the same thing. We're going to see one driver kind of come down the racetrack over top of another driver here, exactly like we saw to that 16 and the 5 ride earlier on here just a few laps ago. There's the 20 ride coming down. They make some contact, and as he goes around, unfortunately not as smooth, not as easy as what it would potentially be, or for what Alex Pelican made it look like. Not a whole lot he can do right here. Watch the pan. Just goes around, nowhere to go here for one of his teammates, as that's Jacob Grube getting tied up into it. Then you see other drivers unfortunately getting tied up. The 77 of Brandon Deming, he's going to get tied up in that one, man. You see the 91 down low, ends up getting a piece of the 7 right of Brett Summers, and man, there's so many other drivers back here just trying to navigate their way through this, trying to figure their way around all this carnage in the spun-out race cars there, and unfortunately, he's got nowhere to go. You see the 3 machine gets into the back end there of Trench, and unfortunately for Ron McDonald, he's going to end up with some pretty good damage here on his truck as he gets a great look at it, sees the 20 ride turn around, rolls out of the throttle. Unfortunately, the 3 ride did not see it, gets up into the 31, who gets into the 9 ride. The 9 gets back into the 971, and then he gets back into Jacob Grube, and then it's just absolute chaos down the back straightaway here at IRP as everybody just trying to figure out how to get through this, as it's an absolute parking lot down here. Drivers even, halfway down the back straightaway still just trying to get checked up, still trying to avoid these spun out race cars on the racetrack as man, this unfolded. It took out a lot of competitors in a quick hurry here. Look at all the chaos here down the backstretch. Daniel Oster-Whiskey in there, the 19 at Koshersberger getting some pretty good damage there. A lot of drivers just getting absolutely tore up down here on the back straightaway this afternoon. So another caution flag, and unfortunately for a lot of drivers, going to be looking to get those repairs, looking to try to fix their lines up and get back out there onto the racetrack as Mark Simons, what's good, Mark? Mark coming in, showing the love, says, let's go, he says. Let's go, baby, let's go. How are you, brother? Nelson John says, drive it like you stole it. Well, they're all driving it like they stole it right now. Dimitri says, more like tiny shrimp with Cajun seasoning. Okay, all right. I can get behind that. I mean, I'll try it. I've never tried crawfish, but I'll try it once. I'll see if I like it. If I don't like it, then I'll order a burger, like a real man. I'm just kidding. Frank Ranger, what's good? Frank, what's good, brother? Frank says, what's up? Bad wreck right there. Bad wreck for certain. Bad wreck. A lot of tore up race cars. A lot of bent up sheet metal is in front. It's Josh Ely. Ely continue to lead the way. That Dirt Track Junkies, number 83 right at the front of the field. But now you do see Nicholas Snyder up and into second here. Snyder had worked himself around Nick Gardner as Gardner slides back into position number 3 on the racetrack. The deepest he's been all afternoon is there's that 31 right. That is unfortunate break there for Trench as Rob McDonald going to go another lap down out there on the racetrack. That crawfish machine, the juke joint, Fritz for Pets ride, unfortunately off the pace. Still some pretty good right front damage there on that ride, and just trying to survive through this evening. As we do see Robert Howard back down pit road in the 50, trying to get that thing repaired. As out in front, leading the way, it's Josh Ely. Ely at the front of the field as Amanda Herbert. What's good, Amanda? Amanda says, let's go, Herbie. And Peterson cheering on those Ridge Power Sports rides here this afternoon. It's Friends for Pets coming in with that share as well. Amanda coming in with that thumbs up on the broadcast. Nelson with the thumbs up. Mark coming in with that like on the stream of my boy Frank Ranger with that heart reaction as well. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you haven't already, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button. Become part of the Peacemaker family here today. You don't want to not be a part of the Peacemaker family. You want to be a part of the absolute amazing racing action day after day after day as we're up here in the broadcast booth every single night, bringing you guys non-stop racing action, some amazing content here on the channel. As Tubbs says, gotta love ARCA braking. ARCA braking, yeah, unfortunately it happens. Dimitri says, I swear, Trench has the worst luck. Trench definitely has some bad luck. There's a lot of drivers I think we could throw into that category. There's a lot of cats out there that unfortunately end up with some pretty bad luck out there on the racetrack. Because we're going to take a look back here. We're going to see some more issues. A couple drivers deeper in the field here that get tied up in that last wreck. Unfortunately running into some problems here. We're going to see the 7 rider, Brent Summers. You see the 10 ride already sideways. He's actually going to go all the way around right here. I don't know how we did not get a caution flag for that, but nonetheless, we keep on driving and keep on rolling clean and green. Let's take a look here. Let's take a look a little farther forward and see if we can take a look at the 10 machine of Tim Blankenbeckler's. Tim trying to hold off this, I believe that's the 21 ride of McCulloch right there. Yeah, McCulloch gets a piece of him, gets him sideways there on the racetrack, and then nowhere to go for Brett Summers, Jacob Grube. They all get some pretty good contact there into that 10 ride as you see the 19 down through the grass. The 42 rider, Kevin Winker, having to get stopped there on the apron as he didn't want to get tied up in any more contact as we're on the racetrack. As we keep it clean and green. Out in front, continue to lead the way. It's still Josh Ely. Josh Ely at the front of the pack here with Nick Snyder hanging right there with him, not letting him run away with this one. Nick Gardner a little farther back here in third as he's got that 34 up. Zach Michael right behind him, and now rounding out our top 5 in the Rage Power Sports. KR Gutters, number 87, it's John Herbert. Herbert rolls there in that 5th position. Great run so far here this afternoon for that beautiful 87 ride. Is Brad Lane back there in 6th. Alex Pelican there in 7th in that Grizzly number 16. That Bucky's Machine there in 7th with Chris Gilbert back behind him there in 8th. Joshua Ledoux in the Dirt Track Junkies 09 Laser Engraving. The Triple J rides out there on the racetrack as he rolls in position number 9. And Brandon Domingue right there behind him in that Navy 77 ride. Rounding out our top 10. Will Klein there in position number 11 as the Big Oscar Whiskey down to his inside. The 3 ride of Mark Beverly there in 13th with Neil Lapidus. John McCullich rounding out our top 15. Cal Turbeville, Jason LePan, Ryan Peterson, Bobby Blair, and Jacob Krug rounding out our top 20. Ed Koshersberger, Kevin Winker, Tim Blankenbeckler there in 23rd with Kyle Van Tassel and Brett Summers. Unfortunately, just trying to get through another wreck out there on the racetrack as we do see the caution flag come back out. And slow there on the racetrack was that number 5 ride of Nicholas Snyder, as it looks like Snyder's going to run into some problems here. He was in position number 2. He was looking to try to go for the race lead, and down through the front straightaway looks like just going to get a little tied up here, and it's both our race leaders. Oh, big hit right there for Snyder. Big hit there for Josh Ely, as Ely and Snyder end up into the walls here this afternoon at IRP, and this race going to continue to just be absolute chaos. As you see, Ely right there gets a little loose. The 5 ride tries to get to his outside, and I think Ely just still trying to collect this car. The 5 ride as well right there, just arrow and everything else, they just tied together, and then and it just kind of hooks that 83 up into the outside fence. The 13 ride sliding through there. Kyle Van Tassel ends up getting into the back end of the 5 ride, not realizing that they were going to be running into each other and having issues there on the front straightaway and losing all that momentum. Unfortunately, that slides Snyder right down the racetrack. Hard contact into the inside wall here at IRP, man. And this is a heartbreaker here for Josh Ely. Heartbreaker for this number 5 ride, as we'll have to wait and see if they can navigate their way and race their way back up through the field here and see if they can try to recreate what they've already done and race their way up to the front of the pack here. So let's jump on board with our race leader right here. You see him get a little loose right there. He's trying to correct it, and he gets turned up into the wall right there. Tough break for Josh Ely. Let's jump back and see if we can get a look and a perspective here from the number 5 rider Nicholas Snyder. Snyder just trying to do something, trying to figure out a way to get this race lead, and finally got an open door right there to the outside of Ely. As Ely gets a little loose, he tries to get to the outside and just run out of room so quickly here at IRP, and then you see that contact, heavy damage down into the inside fence there for Snyder. So another quick caution flag. Driver's going to get an opportunity to head down pit road, try to get some repairs, try to get their trucks fixed, and try to get back out onto the racetrack as we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing. We'll get ready to duke it out here once again as reconsuming the race lead here this evening is that 27 rider Nick Gardner. Gardner, who landed early on in this race, was our pole sitter, fell back there the 3rd, but then just being able to watch our 1st and 2nd place drivers have issues get into each other and into the inside and outside fence. He's able to slide right on through there, keep himself out in front, and take this race lead back away. Zach Michael now into 2nd, John Herbert rolling there in 3rd with Brad Lane and Alex Pelican now our top 5. As you do see the 45 of Chris Gilbert back there at 6th with Josh Ledoux, Brandon Domingue, the Beagle Run Whiskey, and the 88 rider Will Klein now up inside the top 10. We'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing. You're in this one. It's been chaos. It's been chaotic, and we have seen some great racing action. It's elbows up and back and forth action here in Indianapolis Raceway Park. As that number 27 ride back down through the Geico restart zone. We'll see that green flag fly once again, looking for a big jump over that 34, and he's able to get it. Quickly slides up in front of Zach Michael, starts rolling that middle to outside groove and looking to try to open up a bit of a lead once again as he wants to try to run away with this one. Michael right there trying to hunt him down with John Herbert on his back bumper, man. Herbie's been having a heck of a run so far here this afternoon. It's great to see this Ridge Power Sports KR Gutters HCK Beagles number 87 ride right here in the mix and battling his way up inside the top 5, racing inside the top 3. All around goes Joshua Ledoux. Ledoux is around. The caution flag is back in on the racetrack. Caution flag back out here on the speedway. Another issue here as on the restart. Looks like Joshua Ledoux going to get some help here. He's going to get turned around, and unfortunately John McCool's going to get a little contact there as well. So let's take a look here as it looks like the 38, again, there's just these two different driving lines that drivers tend to run. It's kind of up high, working yourself down low. Unfortunately here, rolling down to the inside lane, you just seem to come up and off the corner, just like Martinsville or Bristol. All these racetracks, you kind of navigate towards that outside fence on corner exit. And unfortunately for the 14 ride, Nathaniel Ostrowiecki was not clear of this 80 or 38 ride. And get a piece of Ledoux right there. He's gonna knock him loose. He's gonna try to correct it. The car overcorrects, gets up into the outside fence, and all of a sudden nowhere to go there for his teammate in the 88 ride. Man, that's a heartbreaker for Will Klein as he's just trying to race his way through it there, hoping to not have any issues and race his way up inside the top 10 now with some pretty heavy front end damage as he's gonna get a great look at it. There's the contact right there, and then 38 just parked right in front of him, man. Nothing that he can do except for hang on and hope for the best as another caution flag, another opportunity for drivers to head down pit road is right now. Everyone except for our top 5 has been down pit road here in this race. Our top 5 still rolling out there on the racetrack. Not coming down pit road as of yet, so maybe trying to save that fuel, trying to save those tires for later in this race. As Frank Ranger says, seems like whomever can stay out of trouble will win. Maybe I should have raced and rode around the back. And Don shrugs, laugh out loud. Hey, you never know. I've seen drivers win races that way. I've seen drivers, still get tied up in wrecks, even rolling at the rear of the field. But definitely one of those wild card races. We haven't seen these guys on this racetrack in the series before. So, big opportunity to run here and have 30 trucks out there on the racetrack and to be able to run non-stop and see, how intense things get and how quickly things happen here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Unfortunately for a lot of drivers, finding out the hard way on what this damage model can do and how hard these hits can be here at IRP. As we'll get them ready to go back to battle. We'll get ready to duke it out once again. We're going to get a quick word in, though, from our sponsors over at Press for Pets.
Friends for Pets!
Alrighty, well, here we go. Getting ready to go back to Green Flag Racing. It's that 27 ride of Nick Gardner once again out in front, able to get another good restart. Quickly jumps up, clears that rush truck centers, number 34. As he slides back into second now, trying to hold off John Herbert. Zach Michael right there, able to clear Herbert and keep that second spot. Herbert able to slide in right behind him. Now here comes Brad Lane. Here comes Chris Gilbert. And we're going to have to wait and see if some of these fresher tires can start to navigate their way up towards the front of the pack here. If they can make these strategy calls, if they can find some different lanes, some different gears, and try to put themselves into what could be a winning strategy here this afternoon. As each and every one of these drivers trying to keep themselves out of trouble, trying to keep their car pointed in the right direction, and now having some drivers on different strategies out there on the racetrack really opens up the door here for different things. But now we see the 14 ride up and into the outside fence. Caution flag coming back out here. Nowhere to go for Ed Koshersberger. Koshersberger, really nothing he could do here is all of a sudden down and out at corner number 4. The car right in front of him is going to run into some problems here. Let's take a look at it. It's Nathaniel Ostrowiecki in the KTM number 14 ride. Just loses the rear end right there. You see that rear end just starts to step out and around on him, and as he tries to correct it, the car just overcorrects, snap hooks back up into the outside fence, and unfortunately, it wasn't just the outside fence he got a piece of. It was this number 19 ride, that Tank Warrior Pop Smoke Machine. Ed Koshersberger, there's just nowhere for him to go out there on the racetrack, man. This is just a Another tough hit, another tough break. Luckily enough, everyone else able to avoid it except for these two cats that get tied up in it. Bring the caution flag back out as there goes the 14. There's the contact, and man, that's a heavy hit right there between him and that 14 riders. We'll get them all back down pit road. Drivers are going to come back down pit side. They're going to look to continue on getting some fuel, some tires, trying to figure out their rides, hoping to get some of these repairs cleaned up and trying to get some of these repairs done to their cars and trying to get these things back into picture perfect shape and join the battle back again out there on the racetrack. As Dimitri says, I thought it was Kentucky Derby week, not Destruction Derby week. Laugh out loud. Knee slapper right there. I'm just kidding. I'm messing with you. That was a good one. That was a good one, Dimitri. I like it. I like it. Hey, man, the Kentucky Derby. I don't really watch it, man, but I watched that last couple seconds, man. And that was a great race. That was a great battle back down to the line, man. That's a lot of fun. That almost makes me want to go bet on the horses, you know. That makes me want to go bet on them a little bit, you know. I'm not going to lie. Put a little bit of money on there. Maybe make a little bit of a parlay or something there for next year's Kentucky Derby. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. As Nick Gardner out in front, he's just doing what he does, man. Keep this car clean. Keep it green, trying to keep yourself out of all the trouble and chaos that can unfold out and around you. As we already saw our first and second place drivers run into problems, end up into the fences themselves, and Nick Garner was able to reconvene this race lead as our pole sitter here this evening out in front, trying to keep everyone else back there at bay. As we look back through the field, some drivers really start to work their way up and through the traffic here. Neil Lapidus up into 6th here. Great run so far for Neil Lapidus. Josh Ely's battled his way back up inside the top 5. You see Mark Beverly, he's up 18 spots there in the 8th position. And Ryan Peterson, who started back in 29th, rolls there in that 9th position. He's up 20 spots on the racetrack. We do see Kevin Winker caked up there in that Winker Nation Sonic Graphic Designs Muleburger Custom Homes number 42 truck. He's now up into 11th. So a lot of this pit strategy, a lot of good luck in trying to avoid and having good, wreck avoidance out there on the racetrack could be the difference maker between getting a solid finish, maybe even potentially win here this evening. The HCK Beagles Truck Series, we get ready to go back to battle here in this one, as it is the Beagle Run 165. From Indianapolis Raceway Park is down through the Geico restart zone. We go back to green flag racing. Nick Gardner out in front. Another great restart there of the 27. And here comes the 87. John Herbert down low. He's looking to steal position number 2. Away from Zach Michaels. Michael trying to hang on to him, but we're going to see another caution flag deeper in the field. More drivers tore up. More drivers turned around here. You see Trench in the 13. They're parked up into the outside fence. There's a heavy hit there for Trench. Heavy hit there for the 13 rider, Kyle Van Tassel. And another caution flag is going to fly. Let's take a look and see what happens. What brings this yellow flag back out onto the racetrack here as we see a couple drivers, unfortunately, just getting tied up here in this one. Nowhere to go. Some heavy contact, some heavy damage here for a bunch of them. And tore up race trucks right there. You're going to see the 50 ride. Tough break right here. This is the 50 machine. Take a look here. That is Robert Howard. Let's see if we can get another angle at this one and see if we can get a good look at the initial contact here between Howard in the 19 run. The Tech Warrior ride of Ed Kochersberger. He's actually going to get a piece of the back end of the 31 of Rob McDonald. And then he's going to come up and unfortunately get into the Ed Kochersberger right here. Kochersberger is going to go around as he comes down the racetrack. He clips that 31 rider, Rob McDonald. McDonald gets turned around. He goes back up the racetrack as the 50-19 end up meeting together again down low the bottom side of the racetrack. Now you see everyone else trying to avoid the 31 ride as you do see the 88 machine of Will Klein trying to squeeze through there. Nick Snyder are going to get a piece of it, and a few more drivers just going to get some pretty good damage right there. A lot of tore up race cars again down the back straightaway. See if we can get another look at it here from Rob McDonald's perspective out there on the racetrack as he's going to keep on rolling here, and unfortunately just gets tagged, and then all of a sudden here comes the 5 right in there, the 64 and the 10, and there's the 13 of Kyle Van Tassel as they finally come to a stop there on corner number 3 entry. And fortunately, another quick caution flag, and these drivers will get ready to go back to battle. They'll get ready to duke it out here once again as we're going to potentially see this race come down to a just luck of the draw, potentially see drivers get eliminated due to damage or anything else out there on the speedway, so we'll have to keep an eye on every single little bit of it as we'll get ready to go back to green flag race, and we'll get ready to duke it out once again as we're already 60 laps into this race. This is my boy Caleb Ramsey. What's good, Caleb? Caleb coming in, showing the love. What's good, Mr. Ramsey? Caleb coming in, smashing that thumbs up on the broadcast, also coming in with the exclamation mark followage over there on the Facebook stream, and coming in 1,200 in 19 days of being a follower here on Peacemaker Gaming. Absolutely insane, my boy. Absolutely mother-fluffing insane. 1,200 in 19 days being a part of the Peacemaker family. That's absolutely wild, brother. I can't thank you enough for being a part of all of this and being on the ride and the journey here with us, watching all these races and being a part of the amazing family and channel that we built. Here we go. Getting ready to go back to green flag racing. Is down low. It is that 83 ride back to the front of the field. Josh Ely reconsumes the race leaders. We saw a few more drivers head down pit road, getting some fuel and tires and everything else, as now we've seen everybody at least one time head down pit road and get some work done, get some tires, get some fuel in. And you do see at number 83 of Josh Ely working his way, navigating his way back up to the front of the field. It's Alex Pelican there in second now as he rolls around the 1977 ride of Brandon DeMay. And look out as here comes the juke joint Friends for Pets, number 26, Neil Lapidus, up and into position number 4 here this afternoon as the caution flag is going to come back out. So caution flag back out onto the racetrack here. We're going to take a look back and see what happens. It looks like potentially Joshua Ledoux going to get tied up here in this one. Now this may have been in front of him. Yep, there you go. You see the 91 ride already sideways. 38, everyone trying to just navigate their way through it. Let's take a look back and see what happens as the 91 of Tyson Pankow. Pancakes here. Just trying to race his way back up towards the top 15, top 10 on the racetrack. And oh man, looks like he's just going to get in there a little too deep. He almost gets into the back end there a little too hard of the 21 right of John McCullich, as McCullich is going to get a little tap here, a little shot from him as the 91 gets onto the binders here, trying to avoid not spinning the 21 right out. Unfortunately, the 50 right did not get the memo. Gets in there a little too far, gets in and underneath that 91 right and spins this 91 machine of Mr. Pankow around, and Pankow just sliding through here. And then you see Kevin Winker, K-Dub right there. He's going to get a little piece of it. The 5 right of Nick Snyder. He goes around trying to avoid it as well. And, oh, man, heavy hit up into the outside fence there. For the Dirt Track Junkies, number 91 right of Tyson Pankow, as Pankow will have to try to take that car down pit road and get that thing repaired and back out onto the racetrack as another quick caution flag here, as cautions breeding cautions here at Indianapolis Raceway Park here in the Beagle Run 165 here this evening. It's been chaos, it's been mayhem, it's been absolutely amazing watching these drivers duke it out in battle here this afternoon as the laps continue to click down here. Now a lot of laps under the caution flag, as I believe lap number 65 will come to a close here on this next lap. So lap 65 off the board, and that means we're going to get even closer to this checkered flag as maybe about 100 laps. 100 laps left in this race, ladies and gentlemen. My gosh, we're clicking through, but a quick hurry here. Only 100 more laps of racing action left to go. It's going to be 99 this next time by the start-finish line, as we will see that green flag fly once again. Now we'll have to wait and see if we can get some good green flag laps in here again. We saw a couple decent runs early on. Let's see if we can get back into that swing of things and just get some laps under our belt, try to use some of the pit strategy and tire strategy and see how it all kind of plays out for these drivers here this evening. In front, the 83 of Josh Ely getting ready for another big restart is Alex Pelican there to his outside. Ready to make Neil Lapidus and Brad Lane are top 5 out there on the racetrack. It was Josh Ely who's going to hit that Geico restart zone first, and he's going to be able to fire first here as he does get a great launch right there. Quickly slides up, clears that number 16, and stays in front of the field. As everyone else trying to make their way through there, everyone trying to navigate, trying to keep themselves out of trouble, as trouble seems to be finding a lot of drivers out here this afternoon, but so far it looks like everyone able to get through it fairly easily. We did see a little issues there on the restart as the 25, going to roll around that 10 right out on the racetrack as you do see this number 20 ride and Jason Lopan, the Tech Warrior ride, trying to race his way back inside the top 10. He's got Ryan Peterson right there in front of him. Beautiful looking ride for the Reach Power Sports crew as he rolls back in position number 11. Mark Beverly right there with Zach Michael there in position number 9. John Herbert has slid all the way back now into the 8th position as Nick Gardner, one of those drivers with the Frencher tires out there on the racetrack, he rolls in position number 7. It's Josh Ely, Alex Pelican 1 and 2 out there on the racetrack. Is Brandon Domingue back there in 3rd, and again another great run here for Neil Lapidus. Lapidus up and into position number 4 and looking for more in that OSAKOutdoors.com. The juke joint, the Friends for Pets right there in that 4th spot on the speedway as Brad Lane right there behind him. See General these drivers continue to click off these laps. We get closer and closer to that halfway point here in this one as Tubbs says, I'm just gonna put a target on the tailgate of all our trucks. Seems like that's the move this week. Unfortunately, Tubbs, brother, all the Dirt Track Junkies rides have been getting tore up and everything here this afternoon, but we're still battling. They're still battling, brother. They're up there. They're giving it everything they got. There's no backing down. And for Josh Ely, he's navigated his way back to the front of the field, and this time he's hoping to keep it here and not have more issues and not get turned around or get up into the outside fence again. And just trying to keep this 83 ride clean and trying to keep Alex Pelican and the rest of the field back there at Vegas. Pelican and Ely have really started to stretch out a bit of a lead here. They got over a second now between themselves and the 77 rider, Brandon Domingue himself has a little bit of a gap all the way back to Neil Lapidus as Lapidus and Brad Lane now battling for position number 4 out there on the racetrack. Brad Lane going to slide up and take that 4th spot away, so Lane up and into position number 4 and looking for more here this evening is Lapidus there in 5th, Nick Gardner there in 6th. John Herbert, Zach Michael, Chris Gilbert, and Mark Beverly rounding out our top 10 on the racetrack. It's some good green flag racing here once again. It's nice to see these guys be able to get some good green flag laps under their belt. The slew of caution flags there, back there for a little while. It seemed like finally coming to a close. We're starting to see some good green flag laps being laid down out there. And unfortunately for the fine Ryan, go another lap down right here. This is a heartbreaker. Nicholas Snyder had such a good run earlier. He was battling there with that number 83 of Josh Ely for the race lead before they made contact and ended up into the inside and outside fence there on the front straightaway for the 5 run. He didn't never recovered. You can see this truck still off the pace, still has heavy damage on it, and unfortunately only another lap down and going to be almost impossible here to potentially get back onto the lead lap this afternoon. That truck has seen some better days. He's had some better luck out there on the racetrack, but for Josh Ely, he's pretty happy about that one. That was a fast truck on his back bumper, looking to try to keep him out of victory lane, but looks like he may be able to dodge that bullet and now trying to dodge another one. It's the 16 one, Alex Pelican, the next challenger up, looking to try to hassle him, looking to try to take that race lead away. Ely, though, so far been picture perfect here. Once he got out in front, man, this truck has been unbeatable. Looks like it has a lot of good speed in the fresh air, really helping it out as they've started to stretch out again a little farther away from position number 3 on the racetrack. But the caution flag will fly once again. The caution flag going to come back out. This time looks like John Herbert going to run into some problems. Sean was having such a great run, such a great race, looking to try to make the move around Neil Lapidus here. Looks like Lapidus going to get a little bit loose off corner exit, and unfortunately just going to come down and just come over the nose there of that number 87 ride. Pretty good contact right here, pretty solid hit, and unfortunately for the 87 makes an even harder hit down into the inside fence. Watch the 26 right there. Woo, baby! Excuse me. That's tough. That is tough, man. That's just racing action, man. That is such a heartbreaker there for John Herbert. Some damage again to the juke joint. Friends for Pence 26 ride. This was a battle for just outside our top 5, and unfortunately right here you see Lapidus get loose, comes down, makes that little contact with the nose of the 87, and it just shoots him down the racetrack and into that inside fence right there. Heavy front end damage now for John Herbert. Let's see if we can take another look back and jump on board here with him, see what he can see as he just rolls that inside lane, try to There, the car was outside, and unfortunately, as Lampedus loses control, makes that contact with him, and it's just getting onto the throttle, building up that speed down the back straightaway, and then the contact that just shoves him right down the racetrack. Hard hit down into that inside fence, and another yellow flag to mix things up here this evening as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing in just a few more moments. Driver was getting ready to duke it out here again in this one, as it's been a lot of back and forth, man. It's been a lot of chaos here early on in this race. These guys have not been backing down. They've not been giving up an inch out there on the speedway, and unfortunately, we have seen an abundance of yellow flags here throughout this first half of the race as we're about to roll up to the halfway marker here in the next lap and a half. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, halfway in, halfway to go here this afternoon. We're going to jump into a Peacemaker Gaming, crank it up here for this restart. So, if you haven't already, make sure you guys do us a favor. It's absolutely free to do, helps us out a ton. Hit the like button on the stream right now. Hit that like button. Hit the thumbs up there over on YouTube and over on Facebook and Twitch. And if you haven't already, make sure you guys also hit that follow or subscribe button. Become part of the Peacemaker family here today. Turn those bell notifications on. That way you never miss it when we go live here on Peacemaker Gaming, as we'll be back live again tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and every single day of the week as it's non-stop racing action here on Peacemaker Gaming. We're going to bring in all the racing action right here as we're going to jump into our Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up. So crank up that volume, cheer on your favorite drivers there in the comment section. Let's go back to green flag racing. Let's go back to battle here, ladies and gentlemen, as we're going to crank it up here in the HCK Beagles Truck Series. The caution flag is going to come back out here in this one. Another yellow flag out there on the racetrack. This time looks like Brandon Domingue going to run into some problems here. This 77 truck, the Navy machine here, going to run into some problems. Let's take a look and see what happens here to Brandon out there on the racetrack. So he's rolling that bottom to middle groove, and unfortunately looks like a corner exit. Him and the number 64 going to get tied together as just looks like that 64 ride gets a little loose up there on corner exit, and unfortunately comes down the racetrack into that right rear quarter panel. Just kind of hooks this 77 ride back up and into the outside fence. There's that contact, unfortunately just hooks Brandon Domingue around up and into the wall right there. A couple good hits there for not only the 77, but also for a couple other drivers just trying to snake their way through there, trying to keep themselves out of troubles. It looked like John McCullich, or was that the 18 rider, Jacob Grube, running into some more problems out there on the racetrack. Let's take a look back and see what happens here. Post-contact, I do believe it was McCullich just trying to navigate his way through this after seeing that contact up in front of him. Let's see if he can figure out his way through there. There's the 77. Okay, it is the 18 truck. There is the 18 at Jacob Grube. There he is. All right, let's play this back and take a look here at what happens to Jacob Grube as he was able to get through there, and unfortunately gets a piece of it. He's trying to get checked up, and unfortunately here comes Brett Summers, going to give him a shot right there into that left rear quarter panel, and just that's the 18 ride down and into the grass and into the inside fence, and a little bit more damage there for Jacob Grube on his day as we'll get them all Ready to rock and roll. We'll get ready to go back to green flag racing. Is out in front. It's Josh Ely who continues to lead the way. Ely still out in front, still showing these drivers how to get it done. Here in this one is Joanna Marie coming in with that like on the stream over there on Facebook. Joanna, I appreciate that. Showing the love here in this one. Dropping that thumbs up here on the broadcast as we'll get them all ready to rock and roll. We'll get ready to go back to battle and duke it out again here in this one. We'll see how many laps we can get in, how far we can make it before the next caution flag. As we talked about this racetrack being a little bit like Iowa, we saw here in the series at Iowa, it was a bit of a caution fest, a little bit of a crazy one out there on the speedway, and I kind of have a sneaky suspicion that this race was going to play out quite a bit like it. I had high hopes earlier today, but when we were watching the practice session, we were watching these guys duking out there early on as my boy, what's good, Mark? Mark says hello. He says, how's it going? It's been a while. It's been a while. Yeah, Mark, it has been a little while, brother, but I'm glad to have you back into the comment section and cheering these drivers on and having some fun here this evening as we get ready to go back to green flag racing. We'll get ready to go back to our Peacemaker game and crank it up. So once again, crank up that volume. Cheer on your favorite drivers. There is the caution flag once again back out onto the racetrack as the Klondike number 64. I'm going to run into some more problems right here. Let's see if we can get another angle at this one. See the contact as roll into corner number 4 here once again. Gets up the racetrack towards the outside fence and just looks like rear end kind of slips around, gets a little piece of the wall, comes back down across the nose of that 75 ride. Nowhere to go for the 75 machine as they make a little bit of contact. Around goes the 64 down into the inside fence right here. Heavy damage and then rolls right back up and onto the racetrack. Luckily enough, everyone else able to avoid him and not have more trucks destroyed out there on the racetrack. But for Cal, that's going to turn him around, put him into the wall. Heavy damage there for that Klondike machine, and the caution flag will come back out. So we will get them all stacked up, racked up, and ready to go back to green flag racing here. Once again, it's just a couple.
Trucks flying through the night, NASCAR dreams within our sight. Asphalt heroes in the fight, peacemakers gaining light so bright. Revving it up, feel the pace, speed hounds in the race. Feel the thrill, feel the chase, victory is our holy place. Throttle down, no time to waste, in this high-octane haste. Every corner, every taste leads us closer to first place. Under the lights, the engines scream. This is more than just a dream. Through the asphalt like a beam, racers' hearts with fervor gleam. In this game we find our might. Push the pedal like the night. With each lap our spirits flight. Racing on with all our might.
Alrighty, here we go. Back. Green flag racing. Flag gonna come back in with this one will continue on. Gaming. Crank it up. Crank up that volume. Cheer on your favorite drivers as we go back to battle here with the HCK Beagles Truck Series. Alrighty, caution flag going to come back out here again in this one. It's the 26th ride of Neil Lapidus in that beautiful OSAKOutdoors.com. Number 26 going to lose the rear end here, coming down through quarter 3 and 4. Truck's just going to step out and around on him. He's going to go for a loop-de-loop here on the front straightaway, and as he comes to a stop all the way right there. Now we'll bring the caution flag back in. So another caution flag, another quick one out there on the speedway to get the drivers all stacked up, racked up, and ready to go once again. Now this is giving a good break here to a lot of these drivers that had damage early in the race that got tied up in some of those early caution flags and early carnage out there on the racetrack. They've been allowed a lot of time now to go down inside, make sure that their trucks are absolutely fixed up in order to rock and roll once again. As you see that beautiful Tech Warrior technology, number 20 right out there on the racetrack. Jason LePan getting ready to go back to battle here. He's looking to try to navigate his way up towards the front of the field. See with his teammate who's a little farther back in Koshersberger. Koshersberger, I do believe, going to get that wave around the lucky dog in for the Tech Warrior ride. Going to get back onto the lead lap, back into the action here this evening. See if he can race his way up from back in 17th, trying to get himself back to the front of the field here in this one. So we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to battle here this evening. It's been a bit of an up and down day, a lot of carnage, a lot of tore up race trucks. See Nicholas Snyder back down pit road trying to get more repairs done to that Snyder buys Motorsports number 5 ride. Being off position down pit road now. Passes down there. Here comes Tyson Bank out for another trip down pit side. Chris Gilbert down pit road. Nate Maurer down pit side here again for the DSR Electric 971 machine, as a lot of drivers just looking to try to get repairs, looking to try to get themselves back into the action here this evening. And for our race leader, Josh Ely, let's continue to lead the way here. Now he was last down on pit road on lap number 40, and I believe these drivers are going to have to come down pit road at least once, maybe twice more, but these caution flags are really helping them out, helping them get closer and closer to potentially making this only a one more stop race, as over 100 laps into this race, ladies and gentlemen. It's already been 101 laps completed on lap 102. Now up and onto the board, and we've got just over 60 laps left to battle here this afternoon. While one, I do believe, looks like our race officials going to move it to single file here on the restart. So trying to clean things up, trying to get things a little bit more cool, calm, and collective out there on the speedway, and we are going single file restart here. At least for this restart, we'll see if they continue on with the single file, if they'll go back to stacking them up. We'll see how this plays out. As here we go, back to green flag racing. This is a great break for the 83 ride of Josh Ely, as Ely looking to just try to keep all these drivers back there and being able to have that inside and outside lane open for him. Definitely trying to help him out a little bit more, as he does get another great launch. A good restart there over that number 16. Alex Pelican opens up quite a bit of lead down into corner number 1. Nice and easy down and out of corner number 2, as he'll take us back down the back straightaway. And here at IRP, we'll go back to our Peacemaker Gaming, crank it up, and hopefully see another caution flag here for at least a little while. Give you a bit of a break to quickly go and use the battle. boys and girls, give it up here for these drivers as a good part of a little bit of a green flag run right here. We're not used to saying that here. Throughout this race, it's been a little bit of chaos and a lot of action, and now we do see our race leaders headed down pit road. Josh Ely, Alex Pelican, unfortunately, no more caution flags to keep into their back pocket, and now they head down pit side here this afternoon. This is going to be tough. This could be a big make or break area where they could potentially lose this race if they do not have to go down pit road. As my boy coming in, show the big love, my boy Rob from NC. Mr. Rob McDonald coming in, show the big love here in this one with a $5 USD donation. Show the love here in this one. Coming in with the $5 USD here. Brother, I appreciate that. And yes, it does count towards our goal over there on YouTube, as we got a goal up right now. If we reach that goal, we are going to do a post-race Q&A with all these drivers, where you guys in the chat can ask your questions and ask these drivers, you know, kind of what was going through their minds, what they need to do out there on the racetrack, what they're feeling, how they're feeling about the race, post-race, or, you know, maybe even bring up certain incidences out there that you may want to have some answers to. Even if you're another driver, you can jump in there and ask those questions as well, as if we hit that goal over there on YouTube, we will do some post-race Q&As. As out in front, continuing to lead the way, it is now the 27 rider, Nick Gardner. Gardner once again continues the race lead. His issues there is the number 83, and our second place driver again have to come down pit road. Now Josh Ely is a lap down, same with Alex Pelican. Now I think the big saving grace here for a few of these drivers like Ely, like Pelican, is that everyone else should have to go down pit side. As Rob from NC says, I'm Trench. I know you're Trench. I know you're Rob McDonald, brother. I know it. I know it. He says, oh, you don't want that. Lap my ass up. Oh, I know, all, right? You don't want that at all. I definitely want that. I want all the controversy. Controversy creates views, and unfortunately, tough break right here, man. Another caution flag is going to fly. Another hard hit here for the 50 rider. Robert Howard is just definitely has not been his race. Hasn't been a good race for a lot of these drivers. And right there, you just see the car comes out of corner number 4, just loses that rear end. We've seen it multiple times already here this afternoon. These cars light on their tippy toes as you come out of the corner. And unfortunately for that innovative physical therapy solutions, number 50 Ryan does go around. Luckily enough, does get stopped there and able to keep himself out of any additional trouble or chaos out there on the racetrack, and keeps that truck rolling. No hard damage there, able to keep on racing here this afternoon. But unfortunately, that's going to be a tough break right here. Alex Pelican, Josh Ely, I do believe they were still a lap down, but I'm not sure they may be able to get a wave around right here or get the free pass back onto the lead lap. But for some other drivers, they could try to stay out on the racetrack, keep them just trapped back there a little deeper in the field, as it looks like it's going to be Brett Summers who's going to consume this race lead, as we did see Nick Gardner and Zach Michael, Mark Beverly, Bobby Blair, Brandon Domingue, a lot of these drivers all come down pit road. And now the heartbreak for Josh Ely and Alex Pelican is that they're going to have a few lap older tires than everybody else, and they're also going to lose all this track position where they will get the wave around. They'll get back onto the lead lap, but they're going to be at the back of the pack here this evening, as you do see Ely and two of his teammates there, two of his Dirt Track Junkies teammates right in front of him. That is Will Klein in the 22, and I believe that's the 38 ride of Joshua Ledoux right there as well, all looking to get the wave around and hoping to get at least another lap back for each of them, and seeing if that could potentially put them back into the lead lap and back into the driver's seat here this evening. As consuming the race lead will be the 7 ride of Brett Summers. The Boston Web Marketing number 7 ride will be our new race leader with Kevin Winker, K-Dub, Muleburger Custom Homes. The Winker Nation ride up and into position number 2 as K-Dub up and into that second spot now on the speedway. Now, they got a lot older tires. They got some worn out equipment here, and now they got some fresh tires back there behind him as Nick Gardner, Zach Michael, Mark Beverly, and all these other drivers on the fresher tires going to try to navigate and get around this 7 and 42 in a quick hurry. But for Brett Summers and Kevin Winker, this could be a bold strategy for them if they can roll out there and roll another 10, 15, 20 laps or something like that, and then see another caution flag fly, and they don't go a lap down. That could give them an opportunity to come down pit side, throw their last set of tires on, and then potentially have the best trucks, the best tires out there on the racetrack late in this race to see if they can navigate their way up into the front of the field. As Brett Summers will see that green flag fly as another single file restart here to keep things a little bit more cool, calm, and collected here at the racetrack. To see that 27 ride quickly down low. Nick Gardner looking to make the move already around that 42 of K-Dub. Kevin Winker, they're trying to hang on to it now. Nick Gardner getting a little sideways right here. Look out, he is going to go around. Hard contact into the outside fence as Nick Gardner goes for a slide. He had ran a fairly picture-perfect race up and until that point. He may be just trying to get a little too frisky here down low. Knew he had the better tires, knew that he had the faster truck, and tried to take advantage of it as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, just getting in there a little too deep in that rear end. Just going to kick out and around Autumn, and then he's just going to go for this power slide. Now everyone else has to try to figure out a way to get up and around him right here, and unfortunately for the 3 of Mark Beverly, the 75 ride of Bobby Blair, nowhere for them to go as they get tied together up into the outside fence. Heavy contact for both of them, and heavy damage there for that 27 Napa Auto Parts machine as he gets parked there on the bottom side of corner number 3 and 4. As another caution flag and another opportunity here for drivers to try to navigate and try to figure out some extra ways to earn some extra positions, maybe try to maximize their day to certain extents here, as we do see Brett Summers still leading this race. K-Dub, Kevin Winker, even though he lost second, driver that took it away from him signs around and goes around, brings that caution flag out. K-Dub jumps back up into position number 2. So Winker Nation, if you're watching, make sure you guys cheer on your favorite driver here as K-Dub sits there in position number 2. Zach Michael up and into 3rd. Mark Beverly, even with that front end damage, getting tied up in that wreck, he still stays out on the racetrack. He scored back there in position number 4 with Mark Beverly, or Brandon Domingue there in position number 5. Neil Lapidus. Neil has had such an up and down day here for the juke joint French for Pence number 26. 6 machinist, Neil at OSOCOutdoors.com, Ryan. He's been tied up, he's been turned around, he's had some issues, he's been back and forth. We saw him up inside the top 3 racing, we saw him back deeper in the field just trying to stay all the lead lap, and now once again up here into that 6th position and looking for a good run and a solid day at the Speedway. Brian Chu there behind him in that TRT Pro machine there in position number 8 with Jason LePan in that Tech Warrior number 20 Ryan running at our top 8. John McCulloch in the Pop Smoke 22, number 21. McCulloch rolls there in 9th with Nate Maurer in the DSR Electric, number 971, back there rounding out our top 10. And then we see Josh Healy and Alex Pelican now back on the lead lap. They roll there in 11th and 12th with Brad Lane, Cal Turbeville, Nick Gardner there in 15th, John Herbert, Ryan Peterson, Chris Gilbert, Bobby Blair, and Ed Koschersberger rounding out our top 20 here this evening. Now, I do believe Koschersberger once again getting that wave around the Lucky Donkeys back on the lead lap. That's going to move Will Klein as the driver of the first car, 1 lap down out there on the racetrack, trying to get that wave around, trying to get himself back into the action of some contact. And oh, baby, we're already getting a little bit squirrely back here. We haven't even seen the green flag come back out as here we go. Back to battle here at IRP as the 7 rider, Brett Summers, back onto the loud pedal. Now here comes that 34 ride is Zach Michael. Michael maybe sitting in that catbird seat as he quickly uses that. Those fresh tires down low. Slides right around Kevin Winker, right around that 7 rider, Brett Summers. Summers back up the racetrack, but we do see that caution flag come back out. So the caution flag coming right back out. We'll have to wait and see where iRacing scores everybody. It may be Zach Michael now leading this race. Let's take a look and see what happens. Is Bobby Blair with the damage to the back end of the 75 ride here. Seeing that green flag fly, he rolls down the front straightaway. That's the 18 machine down to his inside. Oh, it looks like Bobby just gets in there a little too deep. Gets in there too deep, that rear end damage. I think he thought it was going to be a lot better. I don't think he realized that he was going to have this much damage and lose the rear end, just kind of like he did. You see this back body panel just all tore apart here. The back bumper ripped off of it, and he sends it into the quarter, and that back end just automatically just steps out and around on him. Hard contact up and into the outside fence there for that Ridge Power Sports KR Gutters number 75 ride in. Up and into the wall, comes to a stop right there, and that's what puts us under the yellow flag. Tough break and another restart coming right at you here as Big Donnie says, go number 64, get well soon, sissy, says Big Donnie. Big Donnie showing the love here in this one as Zach Michael, Brett Summers, Kevin Winker, Mark Beverly, and Neil Lapidus are top 5 out there on the racetrack, ready to see that green flag fly once again, ready to go back to battle, ready to duke it out here again this evening for what's going to be an absolutely amazing night of racing action, man. It's already been an amazing night of craziness and great action out there on the racetrack, but now that we have, very minimal laps, and every one of these yellow flags inches us closer and closer and closer to that checkered flag, the intensity levels are just going to continue to ramp up. We're just going to continue to get more and more crazy here this evening, and for each and every one of these drivers, the time to move forward, it's starting to run out. You need to get to the front of the pack here. You need to start making some moves. And as you start moving around the racetrack, trying to make some big slide jumps or big crossovers, or just trying to give drivers a little bit of a bump and run and try to work yourself around them, unfortunately, that's where we see even more contact, even more issues, and more drivers going around bringing out more caution flags here this evening. It's Kevin Healy. What's good, Kev? Kev says, let's fucking go. Peacemaker Gaming. Let's go, baby. Let's good, Kev. How are you, brother? Kev coming in, show the love here in this one. Man, oh, man, oh, man. What a run. What a drive. What a show this has been, man. This has been like an endurance race almost. It's not quite an actual race. It's more of an endurance race. Survival of the fittest out here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. And for each and every one of these drivers, man, they have been on their tippy toes right from the drop of the green flag and right up to this point, as we still got lots of racing left to go here, man. 25 laps left of this race, 24 as we get ready to go back to green flag here. Out in front, it is this 34 Ryan who continues to lead the way. It is Zach Michael at the front of the field. Brett Summers, Kevin Winker right there behind him now. Brett Summers was last down pit road on lap number 99. K-Dub was down pit road on lap 86. So they got a lot older tires, a lot older equipment, but they may have something up their sleeves, which is that extra set of tires for late in this race. As here comes Neil Lapidus. Lapidus down low, quickly trying to work himself around the 42 with Kevin Winker. Winker trying to hold him up, but nothing. Gonna hold up those French tires. The OSOCOutdoors.com. Number 26 trying to work his way up and into position number 2 as he looks down low underneath the Brett Summers. And it looks like the juke joint. Friends for Pets, OSOC Outdoors, number 26, Emil Lapidus will jump up into position number 2. Summers back there, the third is Mark Beverly. Brandon Meng now our top 5. Kevin Winker, K-Dub slides back to 6 as here comes Brian Chu in the 20 right at Jason LePan right there. And this is going to become a very intense kind of laps here for the number 42 of Kevin Winker. Obviously wanting to see some good green flag laps. See these other drivers kind of wear out their tires, burn their stuff up out here on the speedway, and then maybe see that caution flag come out before he potentially goes a lap down out there on the speedway. Could put him into a winning situation here this evening. And Zach Michael out in front, 1.6 seconds between himself and Neil Lapidus. Lapidus hanging on to that second spot is out in position number 3. It's still that number 7 riders. Look out, Mark Beverly down the racetrack and into the inside fence. Heavy hit right there for Mark Beverly, and there's the caution flag. Caution flag will come back out as Mark Beverly goes for a spin down and out of corner number 2. Let's take another look at it. Let's see what happens and how this happened here for the AC Delco Asphalt Outlaw style race cars. It just looks like he loses the rear end, tries to correct it, tries to overcorrect it again, not wanting to come up and into the 77 of Brandon Deming, and unfortunately there's some pretty solid contact down low for this number 3 machine as you watch him send it into the corner here. He's looking for a big run, trying to get underneath this 7 right as he starts to roll back onto the throttle. The rear end just steps out and around him. And then, oh man, just a couple times trying to correct it, trying to keep it out of the outside fence and out of the 77. And unfortunately, just slides it down the speedway and into the inside wall here. Heavy front end damage there for that Asphalt Outlaws Racing number 3 riders. Another caution flag, another big couple hits out there, and I don't know, Rob, brother, we were talking there during the Crank It Up. We were asking people, you know, how many caution flags they think we were going to see here by the end of this race. He thought 16. I was going more towards 18. I might be on the fence for closer to 20 now. I'm not too sure. It's been a lot of caution flags, man. I don't know what we're at right now, but it has been a handful for each and every one of these drivers, man. This has been proven as a very, very tough racetrack, a very wild race, and everyone's just trying to keep themselves under control, trying to keep these tires underneath of them, and now we'll have to wait and see if some of these tire strategies will play out. As we did see Kevin Winker caned up, did come down pit road right there. So Kevin Winker down pit side. We saw the number 7 rider, Brett Summers, elects to stay out here, so waiting for maybe another caution flag or 2 out of that 7 ride. We'll have to wait and see how it all plays out, and Kevin can race his way back up towards the front of the field here. He scored back in 17th right now for that 42. That's tough, man. Coming from 17, trying to get yourself back to the front of the field, but he does have the fresher tires here than pretty much everybody else out there on the racetrack. He has a lot fresher tires than all these other drivers that are up inside the top 10 battling. They were down pit road. They're on lap number 128, some of them 123, and now he was down pit road. They're on lap 146. Virtually almost 20 lap better tires under the green flag conditions. Probably only about 10 lap better tires, maybe 12 lap better tires as the caution flags continue to fly. But now that he's got those fresher tires, maybe that extra speed, maybe he can just find his way up to the front of the field and steal this win away as 17 laps left to go. It'll be 16 laps left to go as we go back to green flag racing. So Zach Michael, Neil Lapidus, 1 and 2 on the racetrack. Here comes the green flag here once again at Indianapolis Raceway Park as the Beagle Run 165 live from Indianapolis Raceway Park is back to green flag racing. The green flag quickly back out into the air. Zach Michael looking to try to open up that lead between himself and Lapidus. Lapidus trying to hunt him down here as they're door-to-door back there for position number 3. Summers trying to hang on to it. Brandon Domingue trying to take that third spot away from that 7 machine. As here comes Brian Chu, here comes Jason LePan, here comes Sean McCullich, and Nate Maurer right there, as well as their 3 wide down out at corner number 4 as the 83 of Josh Ely. He's been trying to race his way, trying to navigate his way back up towards the front of the field. Here is him and that number 16, Alex Pelican, who just kind of stuck back here in traffic. 2 very fast cats, unfortunately, had the opposite ends of the pit cycle right there. They came down pit road, and during that green flag pit strategy, unfortunately, caution flag came out. They went a lap down. They were able to get the wave around and back into the action, but now have older tires and lost all that track position. And now look out, there goes that one, the 971 machine right there as Nate Maurer goes around. Caution flag back out on the racetrack. Caution flag back out onto the speedway. Maurer with a lot of damage. You see now they're still racking down here in the corner number 3 and 4 as Nick Gardner got a piece of that. And some pretty good damage there for him as it looks like things were going to get tight here between McCullich and Maurer out there on the speedway. Let's see if there was any contact here between them. Very, very tight right here. And yeah, it looks like contact right there. And unfortunately, as Nate Maurer goes around, nowhere to go here. That Grizzly number 16, Rhinus. Here comes the 16. Nothing he could do. Good piece of driving right there by Josh Ely to jump up and avoid it. But look at Nick Gardner back behind him. Not as lucky as the Ryan Peterson ride, the 45 of Chris Gilbert, Brad Lane, all going to get some damage into that as well, as you do see that 27 hard contact down into the inside fence. And look at K-Dub, Kevin Winker right there, staring right down the barrel at it, and somehow or another able to get onto the binders and avoid all this chaos. Let's see if we can jump on board here with K-Dub as Winker Nation. Watch how close this was. Steer driver potentially having his night come to a close, as I reckon he's quick to get onto the binders right there, and luckily enough, he does get into him soon enough and avoids all that chaos and all those tore up race cars, and now he's going to be able to leapfrog all those drivers and move a little closer to the front of the field here himself. So now Kevin Winker going to be up into about the 13th position, 12th, 13th spot out there on the speedway. We'll see if he can try to navigate his way potentially back up towards the front of the pack here. Fresher tires, sits there in 12th, got a lot of track position right there, no damage on that truck. Let's see if he can navigate his way to the front of the field. Is Zach Michael out in front, looking to just try to keep on running away with this one. Hitting these restarts, has a bit of a buffer here is Lapidus, Brandon Domingue, Brett Summers, Brian Chu back there behind them. They haven't really shown a ton of speed here this afternoon. A lot of those faster drivers have been stuck back here deeper in the field, as Jason LePan now into 6th. John McCullich there at 7th. Alex Pelican back in 8th. Even with that front end damage, sticking with it, staying out there on the speedway as Josh Ely back in 9th. Brad Lane there in 10th. He went the damage that he just got to his trucks in with that 45 of Chris Gilbert. So Kevin Winker could have potentially gained about 3-4 more positions during that bit of a chaos right there, but those drivers elect to stay out on the racetrack. Now they got the damaged race cars, older tires, and everything else, and Kingdom's got to try to see if he can make quick work of them and just cruise control right on around them here. See if he can pick up a few more spots, race his way back inside the top 10. Now, the only thing that sucks for Kevin Winker is all these caution flags. And we get closer and closer to this checker flag, and unfortunately, he's running out of time to try to race and hunt down all these drivers at the front of the field. As that 34 ride of Zach Michael getting ready to see the green flag fly here once again is down across the line. We will see 9 more laps left to go as he gets another good restart. A good jump right there, and it kind of log jams everyone else up back there deeper in the field. As drivers are trying to navigate their way around here, everyone trying to just keep themselves pointed the right direction. You see K-Dub right down low, quickly trying to work his way around that one rider, Brad Lane. As Kevin Winker trying to race his way up inside the top 10 down low, looking to make the move around the one right. Looks like he will clear him, and K-Dub up and into that 10th position. is out in front. Zach Michael, though, able to hang on to the race lead as here comes that 26 rider, Neil Lapidus. Lapidus, what it would mean not only for him, but for the OSOCOutdoors.com, the Friends for Pets, and the Juke Joint team to see that 26 Lapidus find his way up and into victory lane here this evening. But Zach Michael is not just going to give it to him, and Brandon Domingue would love to try to slide up there and battle and duke it out here for this race win, as well as Brian Chu and Brett Summers. Summers on the older tires, that different pitch strategy, and unfortunately he's back here now into that 5th position. You see Josh Ely trying to navigate his way up inside the top 5 here once again this evening, as he looks down low, looking to see if he can make the move around that Boston Web Marketing number 7 machine. Here comes the Dirt Track Junkies ride. Is Ely down low, looking to make the move back into 5th here. Some great racing action. These guys are not backing down, not giving up out there. K-Dub, Kevin Winker, up and into the 10th position, but hasn't really been able to find anything else out there on the speedway. Some great laps being laid down by all these drivers out here on the speedway. I just think, unfortunately for his game plan, those few caution flags and drivers not really using up their tires too much in between lap number 128 and lap number 146 when he came down and got those tires. Unfortunately, I think they're just too close that unfortunately he's not finding that extra gear, that extra speed that he may need to try to race his way into an even better finish here this evening. As Zach Michael out in front, starting to run away with this one. 1.4 seconds between himself and the number 26, Neil Lapidus. Lapidus trying to hang on to it here as he wants to be able to park himself up and into the broadcast booth here, wanting to put himself into the show here this afternoon. As, man, what a run, what a drive for him, and what this would mean not only for himself but the entire team to be able to have that 26 up and onto the podium. And with only 3 more laps left to go, he's inching closer and closer and closer to it. As Zach Michael continues to lead the way, last thing he wants to see is a late race caution flag to really make this that much more spicier as we get 2 laps left here in this race. He's got a 1.2 second lead between himself and Neil Lapidus. Brandon Domingue there in 3rd, Brian Chu back in 4th, with Josh Ely now back inside the top 5. Alex Pelican, Jason LePan, John McCulloch, Brett Summers, Cal Turbeville now our top 10, as unfortunately Kevin Winker slides back there into about that 11th position as the 64 rolls around his outside. Chris Gilbert will climb right there as well, but the white flag has been displayed, so one more time around here for the Rush Truck Center's number 34, Zach Michael. Michael, for the final time here this evening from Indianapolis Raceway Park, he heads down through 3, and out of 4, it is Zach Michael who picks up the checkered flag here at IRP. Michael gets it done and picks up the win here this evening in the Beagle Run 165. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for our race winner, Zach Michael. Man, what a run and what a drive for him, and what a run for Neil Lapidus. Lapidus coming home there in position number 2. Brandon Domingue there in 3rd. Man, what a run, what a show, what a thriller here this evening by each and every one of these drivers. Man, that was a heck of a race, a heck of a battle. And if you guys enjoyed that racing action, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button. Become part of the Peacemaker family here today. Turn those bell notifications on, that way you never miss it when we go live here on Peacemaker Gaming, as you never want to miss the racing action out here on the speedway. Zach Michael getting the job done and picking up the dub here this evening. We'll get ready to pull him and the rest of our top 3 up and into the broadcast booth here this evening. Man, what a show these guys put on, man. Oh man, some chaos, some carnage, a lot of back and forth, a lot of different strategies, and a lot of strategies that kind of got thrown out the window there. You can't really plan too much for a race like this. You can't have these in the notebook of what to do and how to play it and how to keep yourself at the front of the field without giving up track position. Once you give up that track position, how do you get it back with so many caution flags, or just trying to not get tied up and tore up out there in some of the other chaos that unfolds in front of you? So track position became such a key thing to finding your way into victory lane here this evening. For Zach Michael, he had it there late in the race, was able to put himself up and into victory lane, as we'll get ready to pull our top 3 up and into the broadcast booth here for some post-race interviews, man, as that was a heck of a show, heck of a race. one hell of a drive here this evening, man. What a show these guys just put on for us. We'll see if we can find their Zach Michael. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, our race winner, Zach Michael. Hey, Zach, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker broadcasting booth. Do you get a copy?
10-4.
Zach, man, what a run, what a drive here for you as you're able to find your way up and into the IRP victory lane here this evening, as it was a RIP for a lot of these drivers this afternoon. A lot of carnage, a lot of tore up race trucks out there, and somehow or another you're able to navigate yourself through a lot of it, keep that truck fairly clean out there on the racetrack, and then here late in the race, find that track position, have those fresh tires, and drive your way up and into the lead, and then just keeping yourself there throughout those final restarts and driving away late in this race to put yourself up and into victory lane, man. Take us back through this one and what's going through your mind right now as we're celebrate out there on the racetrack.
Well, obviously, I'm happy I won. Happy the race is over. That was a race of attrition for sure. It was kind of a last man standing deal. We got so many cautions, and you had to make pit stops for fuel, so we wasn't sure if I was coming or not, or I got really lucky that last one of those last yellows we had there, the first longerish run we had when we went to single file starts, I was about 3 laps from pitting, and that would have been really bad news. So I got really lucky there, like I did at Dover, and I mean, this place is so tough to pass, all about track position, and we were fast. It's just so hard to pass that I got second, was filing in behind Nick, and then the door opened unexpectedly, and it's just a matter of hanging on to position and not getting run over on the restart, and that's what we did. So yeah, it's a good night for me, but yeah, I'm glad I wasn't back any further than I was for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, because it was pretty chaotic back there. Obviously, everyone trying to get everything they can, trying to earn every pass and every position. Unfortunately, just so many incidences out there, man. Take us back through a lap out there on those racetracks. It seems like these trucks very light on their tippy toes. We saw a lot of drivers just losing those rear ends and slipping out and around it, and then all of a sudden, you get 4 or 5 drivers just nowhere to go and slam right into them. But just losing that rear end, getting back onto the throttle out there on the speedway, seems like these trucks just get up and walk away from you.
Yeah, it's a tough track for sure. I mean, the track itself is really wide, but the racing groove is pretty narrow, and it gets even narrower when you're side by side with somebody. And then you got the flat part on the bottom, and that banking transition can really upset some guys. And um, you want the top going in, but a lot of guys like myself were cutting down on exit, and that got me more straightaway speed. But so many of these guys just driving in so deep, so you're kind of almost playing a balancing act between setting yourself up for corner exit and not getting run over on corner entry. And we had a couple close calls there, but yeah, I mean it's tough to pass, but it's probably one of my favorite tracks just because of all the different lines you can take, and entering low and washing up or running the wall. I mean, unfortunately the bottom doesn't work as well here as it does in the real deal, but yeah, just a tough track, and then you get a bunch of trucks out there, and it gets pretty wild when it's hard to pass.
Absolutely. Well, it's definitely a wild one here this evening for the HCK Beagles Truck Series. And Zach, you're able to find your way back up and into victory lane, man. How does it feel to find yourself back up here, man? With so many talented and great trucks back there behind you, and being able to find your way up here into victory lane and keeping, drivers like Ely and Pelican and Brett Summers and so many of these other guys out of victory lane tonight.
Yeah, I mean, we were fast, qualified well. I figured, at least on straight up speed, we'd be top 5 for sure. But just right place, right time, taking advantage of cautions, surviving, not being in a caution. I mean, it's just kind of one of those things when you got a fast truck, you're probably going to finish well, but to win, you got to have a few things go your way. And Dover with cautions all fell the right way, and I got the track position, and fortunately the same thing happened here, and had the same result.
Absolutely. It's now your second victory here on the season, and setting yourself up nicely for our playoffs here this year. Zach, man, who would you like to thank for another great run and strong performance out there on the racetrack?
I mean, I got to give everybody that made the checkered flag deserves a drink for sure for making it this far, and I think any virtual winnings I'm getting from this race are going to go into a GoFundMe for the admins that got to review all those cautions. They'll be heavy on my mind over the next couple days sorting that out. But yeah, I mean, just the guys here at HCK and the admins and guys that race here. I mean, every week's been it's been pretty good racing. Last week was pretty fun. Pocono was a little tough. Tonight was kind of an oddity for these guys. A lot of the races here have been really fun and really competitive. It's just like I said, it's just a tough track with a lot of different options and hard to pass. And um, but yeah, just thank everybody for putting the race on. You guys for putting the broadcast on. Anybody who's still watching, go to bed. I got to get up at 5 a.m. for work, so that's where I'll be headed as soon as we're done here. But yeah, good night for sure. And the 5 had a little trouble, so that's going to help us in points for sure. And we'll just kind of keep riding the wave into the playoffs.
Absolutely, brother. Well, Zach, congratulations on the win here this evening, and we can't wait to see you back in action next Tuesday and hopefully right back up here in the broadcast booth.
That is the plan. That is the plan. Thank you. I'll see you guys next week.
Beauty, enjoy the rest of your night. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our race winner, Zach Michael, as Michael gets it done here in this one and puts that 34 up and into victory lane as we get ready now to pull in our second place finisher here this evening. It is that 26 ride of Neil Lapidus. Lapidus coming home in that second spot. Let's get him up here into the broadcast booth. Hey, Neil, it's Aaron up here at the Peacemaker broadcasting booth. Did you get a copy?
Hey, Aaron. Yeah, I got you. How you doing?
Not too bad, Neil, man. What a run. What a drive. Take us back through this one, man. Is a very up and down day for yourself. We saw you, deeper in the field and up at the front of the pack, battling inside the top 2, top 3 there. And then all of a sudden you slide back again and then back and forth and back and forth. And here you are late in this race, battling your way up and into position number 2, having a couple late race restarts, trying to figure out a way to maybe try to steal this one from that 34 right here tonight. But you got to settle in for second in what was a absolutely amazing run and great performance here from you tonight at IRP.
Yeah, this is my home track, so it's a lot of fun to be here. I really enjoy racing Lucas Oil Raceway. Didn't qualify well. We started pretty far back in the pack, but was persistent. Did get involved in a couple cautions there early on, really throughout the race. But we were lucky to not have a bunch of damage. Luckily, most of the accidents here are usually pretty slow speed because of the short track nature. So everybody's going to finish the race with a banged up truck. But yeah, I was persistent and was able to save a set of tires. I had 35 laps to go, and I was able to go in and get a fresh set and be able to charge my way up to the front there and pull up the second place finish. Zach Michael in the 34, I had absolutely nothing for him. He just kept on trucking along and was just pulling away from me as hard as I could. And I was trying my best, but just didn't want to put it into the wall and ruin my chances of getting the second place finish. I'm super happy for it for my team, and thankful for you being here and watching me get the second place finish.
Absolutely, brother, man. It was a heck of a run, heck of a drive, and now it's got to feel like a big weight in such momentum being built here for you and the entire team, man. Obviously, sporting the frets for pence and the juke joint there on the back bumper and the ride here this evening, and again for the season with those teams, and then having the Osaka Outdoors ride again on the side of that car and able to finally jump up here and put it into a top 3 podium run, man. It's got to feel, as I said, like a big weight lifted off your shoulder.
It does, yeah. It's the best finish for me in this league, as well as the best finish for my team this season. So it's an absolutely wonderful feeling to be able to get that for our team. Of course, would love to have the win, but I think I'm just as excited to get the second place finish for us. Definitely a good win, and in our books, even though it's not, don't come home with the trophy, but super happy.
Yeah, absolutely. No trophy, but man, it's got to feel like a win, keeping so many of these other fast cats back there behind you and finally getting one of these races into the books as a good race. So we've seen, you and a lot of the other Frets for Pants rides have so many issues here to start this season, and now finally getting this good finish, maybe an onslaught, and a turn of the tables, and more good luck coming your way and the entire team's way here, getting some more great finishes and maybe a couple victories before the playoffs get started.
That's definitely the goal. That's definitely the goal. We like to stay optimistic here.
Absolutely, brother. Well, Neil, great run, solid drive, heck of a performance out there on the racetrack, brother. Who would you like to thank for the great drive here this evening?
Yeah, first and foremost, I just want to thank you for putting on an awesome broadcast every week. Watching all these crashes, this race was probably a little bit dragging on, and glad you were able to stay persistent to it. I want to thank the HCK Beagles admins for always putting these together, making sure that it's a great race, great league, great drivers in this. Want to thank my team, Langley Lapidus Racing. We got 4 great drivers in here, and most importantly, I want to thank. Lastly, I want to thank my sponsors, Osaka Outdoors. You can go to osakaoutdoors.com for any outdoor bow hunting apparel and bow hunting accessories, and then of course the Frets for Pets and Juke Joint for not only being a sponsor on the truck, but also being our league sponsor today.
Absolutely. Well, Neil, great run, great drive here this evening, brother. We can't wait to see you back out there on the racetrack next Tuesday, and hopefully right back up here into the broadcast booth and maybe one spot better in parking that Frets for Pets Juke Joint ride up here into Victory Lane.
Appreciate you as always.
Absolutely, brother. Rest of your night.
You as well. Thank you.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our second place finisher, Neil Lapidus. Lapidus coming home in position number 2. Heck of a run, heck of a drive there for that number 26 machine. As now we'll get ready to pull in our third place driver, the 77 rider, Brandon Domingue, waiting patiently down pit side. Let's pull Brandon up and in to the broadcast booth. Hey, Brandon, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker broadcasting booth. Taking a copy?
Hey, I got you. How you doing?
Not too bad, Brandon. What a wild run here this afternoon. What a wild race, and somehow or another you're able to survive most of it, keep the 77 ride, somehow on the lead lap for most of this race, and not in too much of the carnage that unfolded there. And all of a sudden, late in this one, getting some track position, making some of those passes around the drivers on the older tire strategy, and you find yourself up here in third and trying to battle there with Neil Lapidus to try to get yourself one spot closer there to the front of the field. But unfortunately, had to settle in here for a third place run. But with how this race kind of went, man, it's kind of feel like a bit of a victory, not only just being able to come home in third, but also be able to just finish this race here this afternoon.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. You said settle for third, and I'm like, I'd take that one. I was slow in practice. I was slow in qualifying, and I was pretty slow in the race, but just kept it clean enough. Got hit 3 times, and they were all like like rear tires back. So just kind of the way that the night went. But first of all, I guess apologies to you and anybody watching. My goodness, that was an interesting race. But it was just survival tonight. And just kind of taking opportunities when they came to come down pit road and be kind of smart with the strategy as best as you can. I mean, it was kind of a guessing game, and it kind of worked out in my favor, which I think this season I kind of was owed one. Like I've been in the top 5, I think, every single race this season, and this is the first time I finished there. So, of all places to catch a break, I guess this is as good as any of them to get one.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely been some tough sledding for yourself. A lot of tough sledding for a lot of drivers here through at the beginning of this season. But here in Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park here this afternoon, I kind of had some flashbacks there. I mean, we raced Iowa earlier in the season, and it seemed like this racetrack played a lot like it, raced a lot like it, and kind of played out the exact same way, where we saw that abundance of caution flags, almost like we saw, last year or the year before when we ran Martinsville, and we had 26 or 27 caution flags. It was something wild like that. So we've been here before. We've seen the abundance of yellow flags, but luckily enough, a lot of them were, single car incidences, drivers just losing the rear ends and going for a loop-de-loop there, and luckily enough, not more drivers getting collected and tore up in them.
Yeah, and I mean it's all mindset once these kind of races start happening, and it's real easy to get frustrated, real easy to kind of start driving with red mist or being on tilt or whatever you want to call it, and you just start driving angry, and I think it was a combination of that tonight, and I think just all the restarts, everybody just starts thinking, all right, this is my chance to make a pass, because these trucks at this track, like, it's not impossible, it's not very hard to make a pass, but it's tough to make a pass here, especially on the inside. And I think people were just getting a little desperate and kind of overdriving a little bit tonight. And if you kept your head in it, it went a long way. I think the three of us up there, Brian, it was in the same. He finished fourth. He was a lap down at one point, just kept his head down, kept charging. That's just kind of how it goes in these races, though. If you can keep your patience, you're going to be pretty good.
Absolutely. Patience is key out there on the racetrack, and just biding your time and looking for that track position, being in the right place at the right time. And sometimes you can just work yourself right back up to the front of the field and right back into the action here this afternoon. As Brandon, you parked that 77 right up here in position number 3 here this evening. Brother, who'd you like to thank for such a great run and strong performance out there on the racetrack?
Well, first of all, just the league. I know tonight wasn't a great representation of us, but it was, it's always been pretty good most nights. Sometimes the short tracks just kind of bite us, but the league for one, you for another. I know I say it on the few occasions I come up here. I used to do the broadcast thing. I know it's tough. I know it's a lot of long nights, especially on races like this, and it's definitely appreciated. Brian and Nate down at SoCo Motorsports. We've put that team together right at the start of the season, and it's been a lot of fun. And one thing too is, I didn't know if I was going to race tonight because last week my grandfather passed away, and that's why I had the different look of the truck tonight. He was in the Navy way back when. And so I ran the Navy truck tonight for him, and turned out to be the best finish of the season. So probably part of the strategy to get up there might have been having somebody watch it over me tonight. So obviously it was been a rough week, and this was a nice distraction to have a bit of a good time tonight, and it turned out to be a good result in the process. But I'm thankful for everybody on the team and in the league. A lot of heartfelt messages in the past few days, and means a lot. And we always talk about this league. We get mad at each other sometimes, but there is a good family feel to it, and definitely felt that this week, and I'm very appreciative for that.
Absolutely, brother. Well, it's always heartbreaking to hear any of our drivers going through stuff like that, and our condolences there on the loss of your grandfather. And he was definitely out there watching over you tonight and helping you drive your way up here into this solid third-place finish. And hopefully next week he'll be right on board with you again and helping you up and into victory lane. As we can't wait to see you back out there on the racetrack, Brandon, and hopefully see you up here again in the broadcast booth real soon.
That'd be nice, and I appreciate the thoughts. And hopefully we'll see you again next week.
Absolutely, brother. Hopefully we'll see you right back up here, maybe even a couple spots better and in the top spot here next Tuesday. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our third place finisher here this afternoon. Third place here this evening for Brandon Deming. Heck of a run, heck of a drive there for that 77 ride here this afternoon, man, as that was a crazy race, a chaotic race, a race that, definitely was a bit of a tough one to do. It's those races are tough, man. When you're trying to get a quick break in and you see more and more caution flags, or you're just trying to get into a rhythm and trying to get things rolling and everything else, it sometimes gets a little hard. But nonetheless, we've been here before. We've done it lots of times before, and hopefully we still put on a really good show for each and every one of you guys to enjoy and to watch and have some fun here on your Tuesday afternoon, watching these drivers battle and duke it out and have some fun and have some chaos and probably some frustrations out there on the racetrack here this evening, as I'm sure there was a lot of upset and hurt feelings here this evening. But that is short track racing, and as Brandon said, man, it's the family, and these guys are all going to be right back out there, going to be helping each other out in a day or two and working on the setups and working on their rides and game plans for next Tuesday's race here on Peacemaker Gaming. But thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace and love, baby. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. What a run, what a drive, what a race here in the Beagle Run 165, presented by the Juke Joint, Friends for Pets, and the HCK Beagles Truck Series, live from Indianapolis Raceway. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank y'all for watching, and we'll see y'all on the next one. Peace and love, baby. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen.
Friends for Pets! to first place. Under lights, the engines scream. This is more than just a dream. Through the asphalt like a beam, racers' hearts with fervor gleam. In this game we find our might, push the pedal like the night. With each lap our spirits flight, racing on with all our might. Trucks flying through the night, NASCAR dreams within our sight. Asphalt heroes in the fight, peacemakers gaming life so bright. Revving it up, feel the pace, speed hounds in the race. Feel the thrill, feel the chase, victory is our only place. Thrill the place, thrill the place. Throttle down, no time to waste. In this high octane haste, feel the thrill, feel the chase. Victory is our only place. Throttle down, no time to waste. In this high octane haste, every corner, every taste leads us closer to first place. Throttle down, no time to waste. In this high octane haste, in this high octane haste, every corner, every taste leads us closer to first place. Under lights, the engines scream. This is more than just a dream. Through the asphalt like a beam, racers' hearts with fervor gleam. In this game we find our might, push the pedal like the night. With each lap our spirits flight, racing on with all our might.